something that meant something that I left behind. When I leave this world, I'll leave no regrets. Leave something to remember so they won't forget I was here.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong. A place to forge their future. For 100 years, the Boys and Girls Clubs have opened this door for America's youth. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club in Lansing, Michigan. That's how I actually, got my basketball talents and learned also. They took me to a rodeo, took me to my first Detroit Pistons game, Detroit Lions game, and we've probably all been affected in a positive way, in a great way, by the Boys and Girls Club. It took us off the street. It helped us with our skill set. It provided a safe haven. It taught us crafts. I mean, I can tell you so many things I've learned from knitting shirts to I was pool table, learning how to play pool. It gave me so many life experiences. And when they asked me to come, no question I was going to be here because I believe in the Boys and Girls Club. I support the Boys and Girls Club. And I'm only standing here as I started off as Irvin Johnson, but the Boys and Girls Club helped create Magic Johnson.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing. I'm Chris Holman, your MC for this virtual event, and what a year we're having. Tonight's event is presented by Jackson National Life Insurance Company and in memory of beloved board member and dear friend, Jack Davis. Jack Davis was a personal friend of mine and a personal friend I know of a lot of people in the room, and certainly a personal friend of the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing. Nobody gave more and actually asked for fewer accolades than Jack Davis. And quite frankly, on a personal note, I picked up my phone 5 or 6 times to call him since he passed away. I'll miss him, and I know we all will. Now, if you've ever been to a Boys and Girls Club dinner, you know the best part is the time spent with the kids at your table. Well, in lieu of that tonight, the kids wanted to share their virtual Pledge of Allegiance with you.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
A night to remember would not be possible, of course, without the generous support of our major sponsors. They really stepped up again this year, and we want to thank them for that. And they are Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Ryan and Danielle Robinson, Loomis Law, Mercantile Bank, Clean Team, DTN Management, Dean Transportation, Dart Bank, FTE Performance, Dakota Integrated Systems, Lewis Negg, Attorney at Law, Sam and Judy Ide, UPS, Sohn Linen, and WLNS. Now enjoy this message from our presenting sponsor, Jackson National Life Insurance Company.
The Before I came to the Boys and Girls Club, outside of a few people, I had never been told that I could do something. I was often told that I couldn't do something or that I should lower my goals or my standards because to make them more attainable.
The Boys and Girls Club of Lansing is a place where kids come and change their lives. About 85–90% of them come from single-parent households, the working poor households.
The Jackson Teen Zone is going to be very exciting.
So when we, were getting something together that was a bigger plan, Jackson was the first people on our list because they were already vested. And then for Jackson Associates to then be able to come over here in the Jackson Teen Zone and work with the kids on Money Matters, it just brings it all together.
I enjoy being on the board of the Boys and Girls Club. Every time I come to a meeting, I leave feeling so inspired and so happy to be able to give something back.
Boys and Girls Club family and Jackson National family.
When you come from where I come from and you say you graduate high school, that's a big deal. When you say you graduate college, that's a big deal. But when you say you're going to medical school, that's almost unheard of. So I say that the Boys and Girls Club was like my family, but really they are my family.
Now, the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing is fortunate to have a distinguished board of directors. This group has a passion for the mission of the Boys and Girls Club, an eagerness to serve, and of course, hearts of gold.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're the Robinsons. Thank you for tuning in tonight to support the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing.
We believe in their mission to help kids reach their full potential and are grateful to be among so many other faithful supporters.
So here's a toast to honor Jack Davis's legacy, the club, and a virtual night to remember. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. And it's so good to see you, Ryan and Danielle. We certainly appreciate your extraordinary support of the Boys and Girls Club and all the good work you do in this community. Well, it has been said that the true test of leadership is how well you function in a crisis. Now, Carmen Turner has been at the helm of the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing for 19 years. And she not only brings out the best in her staff, but is admired by the board of directors and has inspired a generation of youth. Well, nothing could have prepared her for a year like 2020. A global pandemic, the social justice movement, the death of a beloved board member, or the closing of schools. She has fostered relationships with key government, corporate, and academic stakeholders. Now, the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing has weathered the storm of 2020 thanks in part to their fearless leader, Carmen Turner.
Thank you, Chris Holman, for your continued support of the club. Every time we call, you answer. We appreciate you. Good evening. Welcome to the Boys and Girls Club Virtual Night to Remember. I am Carmen Turner, the proud President CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing. This year has presented many challenges, including civil unrest and the COVID-19 virus. But in true Boys and Girls Club fashion, we always step up. Following the governor's guidelines, the Boys and Girls Club reopened on July 6th. We went through a lot of modifications of the club to make sure that the club was safe, COVID ready, so that the Boys and Girls Club kids and staff would be comfortable coming to the Boys and Girls Club. We have also entered into a partnership with the Lansing School District as a learning lab. And you will hear more about that from our board member and retired principal, Ms. Madeline Shanahan. We as a board conversated about how do we continue to make a difference in the lives of our kids. We knew that education was the #1 priority. That's why we strategically looked at how we can support families during this tough time. We have updated our Wi-Fi here. We've updated all of our systems. We have non-contact water fountains. We have freestanding temperature checks. We have modified the floors so that everybody is 6 feet apart. We've modified our policies so that everyone is comfortable coming into the building, making sure that our kids are safe while they are learning online with their teachers. But as everyone knows, no one can do this by themselves. I have a dedicated, tremendous staff that I could not do it without them. They have stepped up. They have gone wholeheartedly, getting in contact with the teachers and the families. We've also been blessed to have a collaboration with Community in Schools that was supported by Jackson National Life. So now the Boys and Girls Club has a social worker. And everyone knows right now, with the trauma that the kids are probably experiencing, a social worker is pertinent if you want to make sure that our kids are safe and sound mentally and physically. No one can do this alone. There's no way that we could do this without my tremendous staff.
Now, if you have attended the Boys and Girls Club's A Night to Remember in the past couple of years, you'll remember this next young man. I used to make sure that there was a step stool at the podium for him. He has informed me that he's gotten taller and no longer needs a step stool. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce, for the 3rd year in a row, Boys and Girls Club member Tristan to perform a spoken word for all of us tonight.
My name is Tristan Holsinger. I'm in 7th grade and I've been going to the Boys and Girls Club for about 4 years now. And this is my speech on hope. Hope. It's a word that's almost foreign in 2020. I can name 3 worldwide problems easily off the top of my head. COVID, racism, fires. And being through a year surrounded by negativity is scary. Being through a year surrounded by death is scary. Being through a year where people can lose their lives over the color of their skin is scary. But what makes hope such a powerful thing is that it manifests itself in negativity, like a light that shines through the darkness of 2020. For every COVID-19 kills thousands news thread, there's a 103-year-old grandma who beat COVID-19 and celebrated with a Bud Light. For every act of racism in this country, there's a Crayola creating a box of diverse skin colors, calling it the colors of the world. For For every California fire, there's a Wendy's manager who's helping a truck driver get some lunch. What's all these things have in common? Well, other than being very specific, they all bring hope. And sure, they're all small things, but they bring huge amounts of happiness. And there are thousands of these stories, big and small, about people going beyond during COVID, people going beyond during racism, people going beyond during California wildfires. What 2020 made me realize is that humans can do anything in the world, in the galaxy, in the universe, as long as we're together. But the key to hope is that it inspires people. It's up for you to do something now. I don't mean you have to go out and do something. It can be small things. Call your grandma and check on her. Watch a movie or have dinner with your family. It could be virtual or not, it depends. And I don't know, you are business people, donate to charity. There are many things you can do during this time. One of my favorite quotes from 2020 is, "It's okay to not be okay right now, and to just do your best during these unprecedented times." Quoted by Steve Alvey, Director of Clinical Research and Quality at the American Psychological Association. 2020 has been a terrible year. My speech is not meant to minimize the pain of that. My speech is meant to show us that 2020 can be something other than despair. My name is Tristan Holsinger, and thank you to the Boys and Girls Club for continuing to give hope to the community through their programs. And also to me, personally, by continuing to support me, especially by including me in tonight's virtual dinner. Thank you, and have a good night.
Well, that was awesome, Tristan. Your message of hope inspires all of us. And we want to take a minute and thank Joe Arnold and Clean Team for donating a sanitation system at the Boys and Girls Club and providing unwavering support during this critical time. Now, another board member who's been instrumental in the Boys and Girls Club's educational programming for years, not just during these unprecedented times, is retired Lansing School District Principal Madeline Shanahan. So we appreciate her candid insight regarding the Innovate Learning Labs and the new Return to Learn program, and just how critical the collaboration between the Lansing School District and the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing is for area students.
Good evening, friends. My name is Madeline Shanahan, and I am honored to have been part of the board of directors here at the Boys and Girls Club for, wow, almost 20 years now. In my former life, when I was not retired, I had a 40-year career with the Lansing School District as both a classroom teacher and also as a principal. As a matter of fact, I was principal right next door to the Boys and Girls Club over at Pleasant View, and I also served as a principal at Maplewood School, which is located on Cedar Street. I had a wonderful, wonderful career with the school district, so I was absolutely thrilled when the Boys and Girls Club and the school district formed this Learning Lab partnership to begin the school year. We all know that children have been outside of school since last March due to the virus, and I have worried ever since that happened that kids are not getting the education and learning what they should be learning, and that puts them at a terrible disadvantage. So, as I said, I was thrilled to see that the club was willing to partner with the school district, and I decided to come over and visit just a week or so ago, just to see how things were going and to see if I could do anything to help out. And I was just so pleasantly surprised to see how well everything was going. There are probably somewhere between 40 and 45 children here every day, Monday through Thursday. Each child is spread out in different spots around the club to keep that social distancing in place. Students each work with their own device. Some students have iPads, some students have laptops, and they do their lessons every single day. There are staff people here that are just wonderful. Probably one staff person for every 2 to 3 students, which is a much better ratio than what you would find in a typical classroom setting. Students, because they come from lots of different schools in the Lansing School District, every student has a different schedule. Every student interacts with a different number of teachers every day via virtually. Every student has a different lunch hour, so you can imagine the scheduling problems that something like that would create. Yet, the staff here has figured out how to manage all of that. When lunch starts for one student, lunch is delivered right to where they are seated. Another student might be 6 feet away but not ready for lunch yet, so he might be doing a reading group with his teacher. He or she might be doing a math lesson, might be doing an art lesson with an art teacher. Another child might be standing up and running in place because it's phys ed or recess time. The staff here has communicated with all of the teachers. They have provided a schedule for each student that the staff has placed inside a plastic page protector, so the student knows the schedule. The login information and password is written right on there, so in case the student forgets, they're able to access that and to have that information available. Everything that you can possibly think of that should be done has been done by staff here. And I think it's important to say these folks are not teachers, but they care about children, and that's the most important thing. They have made it work, even though it's been challenging. They've had connectivity issues. We've had all, anything that you could possibly go wrong probably has. But we've worked through that. They've worked through that, not me. They've worked through that, and they've made it work for children. Parents who have to go to work feel that their children are being supported, being educated, and that's got to feel good for them. And the bottom line is our kids are being served as best as we possibly can right now, given the circumstances of our world.
Thanks, Madeline. It's just fascinating to get a glimpse of what distance learning looks like these days. Now, there is a competition each year at Boys and Girls Clubs around the country to select a young person to represent the club as their Youth of the Year. Local kids compete statewide, statewide winners compete regionally, and regional winners compete nationally. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the 2020 Boys and Girls Club of Lansing's Youth of the Year, Miss Zamani Roper.
Hello, I am Zamani Roper, and I am 2020's Lansing Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year. Again, I'm Zamani Roper, I'm 15 years old, and I go to J.W. Sexton High School. The Boys and Girls Club has taught me many amazing things, like how to speak my voice and to make change. In programs like Get City, Grits, Glam, and Guts, and a ton of others, I've been shown how I, a young black girl, can make change in the world. Currently, with all that's going on, it's great to know I can lean on the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing for encouragement and guidance. Because of all my experiences with public speaking at the club, I was able to put together and speak out at a protest on June 19, 2020. At this protest, I talked about how youth are affected daily with the racial and injustice going on in the world. At the Boys and Girls Club, I was taught to be strong through all difficulties, which inspired me to give others hope and to stimulate positivity. No voice is too small, so knowing that there's someone in your corner definitely fuels the fire to create revolution. Everyone has the power to take change and push forward. It doesn't matter the age or race. With the help of the Boys and Girls Club, I've learned that it is okay to be different, but that does not mean that it is okay to be treated differently or unfairly because of the color of your skin. I've also been taught how important it is to have confidence in yourself, whether it's socially, spiritually, or academically. Through the club, I've been introduced to amazing opportunities that will benefit me as a scholar. I was able to skip the 8th grade and participate in higher classes than average. And whenever I think of how blessed I am to do so, I remember all the days that I attended the club after school for tutoring, as well as how I've been steadily encouraged to do my best and then some. This is why I'm glad to be a member of the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing. I am shown how my life and those around me matter. I'm shown how to spread my knowledge of that and become an outlet for my family and peers. One thing I want everyone to take from me is that it's never too late to search for change and want to help others. Every day, there's something that can be done to better yourself and those around you. So stay positive and keep your head up.
Hi, everyone. We've reached that point in the evening to announce the recipient of the Sawchuk Family Educational Scholarship Award. Every year, we present $1,000 to a deserving member of the club to further their education. This award was named after my parents, John and Nina Sawchuk, who together had a combined 100 years or more of service to the Boys and Girls Club of Detroit. Our family has chosen to continue this tradition and support the Lansing community with a similar gesture. This year's recipient is a very deserving young lady, and with this scholarship and other great support from the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing will help her and others succeed in the future. This year's winner is Zamani Roper. She's also our Youth of the Year. She's a fantastic young lady.
Congratulations, Zamani. We look forward to seeing what your future holds.
Congratulations, Amani, on the 2020 Youth of the Year. You represent the club amazingly. Congrats. I would like to thank our sponsors and supporters for your continued support of the Boys and Girls Club. Without your support, we would not be able to continue to help our kids once they leave the Boys and Girls Club and go on to bigger things. One young man you will hear from tonight is Mr. Jeffrey Mills. I call him Dimples. He's a graduate from Eastern High School, valedictorian, and an MSU graduate. He will talk about how the Boys and Girls Club has been supportive in his studies while he was at MSU.
Hello everyone, my name is Jeffrey Mills. I wish I could be seeing you guys all in person tonight. However, I would like to welcome you to the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing's A Virtual Night to Remember. I'm a graduate of Lansing Eastern High School, as is our friend Jack Davis. More importantly, I am a lifelong member of the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing. I never met the requirements of graduation, so they get to keep me. The Boys and Girls Club of Lansing has so many unique and rich programs to help young people reach their full potential as productive and responsible, caring citizens. The program that hit the nail on the head for me was Get City. Get City truly empowers youth to take the climate crisis seriously through innovative and powerful green energy technologies in the city. And Angie, if you're watching, I want to just thank you so much for all the work that you do and continue to do. After high school, and sadly wasn't able to attend the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing anymore, I attended the greatest school in the nation, Michigan State University, where I studied criminal justice. Even though the Boys and Girls Club was only for, younger students, they still made the commitment to see me succeed while I was in college. I was able to apply for scholarships to ease the burden of the tuition, and that was only made possible because of the people who support the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing and our community. And right now I'm working at Jackson National Life, who is actually presenting tonight's event. And I'm also a master's candidate at the Tulane University in New Orleans. The Boys and Girls Club of Lansing has made a huge impact on me and has paved the way for me to be successful in the future. So I really just owe a thanks to all of you guys watching tonight. Thank you to the past, the present, and the future sponsors, board members, and staff. Your involvement in changing the lives of the youth of Lansing is more than appreciated. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night and enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you, Dimples. You make us so proud. While this year has come with such sadness, we will always have our memories. For the last 15 years, I've stood at this podium with my guy, Mr. Jack Davis, to honor his father by presenting the Morton S. Davis Award to an individual or company that not only supports the mission of the Boys and Girls Club, but the community and the good work that happens in Lansing. This year, I'm standing at this podium alone, but thrilled to honor this year's recipient. Take it away, WLNS.
Thank you, Carmen. I know how much you miss Jack. We all loved him so much. He was incredibly proud every year to present the award that he named after his father.
This award recognizes a leader and a beacon of light in our community who generously shares their time, talents, and treasures through philanthropy and community service, all while improving the lives of our area youth.
Over 50 years ago, Mr. Morton S. Davis was instrumental in establishing the Boys Club of Lansing as a safe and nurturing place for school-age children. Today, it remains a cornerstone for youth development programming in our community.
I am so very pleased to announce this year's Morton S. Davis Award is being presented to Sherry Jones. This is for you. A surprise.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You're kidding me.
No. Look, it says right there, Sherry Jones.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. I'm so... Did you know this?
Clearly.
Oh my goodness. I am brought to tears.
I know.
This is amazing.
Well, we knew that you would be able to handle this and have something to say.
Oh, really?
Yes. We have that much faith in you and all you do.
Oh my goodness, this is an incredible honor for a man that I held, and so many of us held in such high esteem, Jack Davis, and to be honored like this through the memory of his father, and now the memory of Jack is just the most humbling, speechless, tear-moving award. I'm speechless.
I know he meant a lot to you.
He did.
So happy to hear.
Oh my
to be in this plan.
What a surprise! What a shock!
Well, it's so deserved. You do so much for this community.
So
nobody deserves it more than you.
Thank you. And I love the Boys and Girls Club, and I have for decades and decades. It's just a club that does so many amazing things, and all the people that support it. It truly is just so beloved by the community. And we here at TV6, we love the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing and everyone who is a part of it. So keep up the great work. Keep doing everything that you do for all the kids in this community. And thank you. Thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, how about that? It's nearly impossible to surprise Sherry. Congratulations. I know Jack's wife, Sue, and their family are watching tonight, and they knew how much Jack appreciated your friendship and your genuine support of the Boys and Girls Club all these years. Sue, kids, and grandkids, you are the joy of his life. Thank you for sharing him with all of us. We'll continue to hold you in our thoughts and our prayers forever. Well, it has truly been a night to remember. Thank you for spending time with us this evening, and thanks to all of our sponsors, as tonight's event is one of the most profitable fundraising events for the Boys and Girls Club in the past 10 years. Stay safe, cultivate hope, and we'll see you next year. And as always, thank you for letting me be part of this evening's festivities. Have a prosperous year, be safe, and good night.